there's something attractive about solar that captures people's imagination. And I think we've seen that in South Carolina, that this has been really a populist issue as much as an environmental issue. It's a technology that people want access to.
If you go back and look at the 2006, 2007, 2008 period, when the Supreme Court rules in EPA versus Massachusetts that carbon is subject to regulation, kind of puts on folks on notice that something's going to change with our electricity sector. And so starting to look for opportunities, those sweet spots that would work for South Carolina.
Our legislature looked to the utilities, looked to the conservation interest, solar businesses, and said, you guys go figure out, we're going to do something. You guys go figure out what we need to do.
South Carolina's electric cooperatives volunteered to help lead a 2-year stakeholder process to build a market for solar in the state. The group's recommendations became the basis for a bill signed into law in June of 2014.
What motivated me to put in the award nomination for the electric cooperatives of South Carolina was quite simply, without them, this would not have happened. They created the holding environment for us to come together with our divergent ideas, with our preconceived notions, lay them on the table and hash them out. They also created the expectation that we could do this, that it was possible and that the time was now to do it.
Our biggest goal was to make sure that the policy in the state of South Carolina was ultimately something that benefited all of the folks who were going to be involved, but most importantly for us, the consumer at the end of the line.
I think Mike Cowick, along with Hamilton Davis, they supported a very robust dialogue on the facts of solar, and that's what allowed South Carolina to not be distracted by some of the emotional concerns that you see in other states.
When you talk about the cooperatives in South Carolina, there's the policy arm, and then there's also the technical, the G&T arm, the operational arm. Without those two coming together, this wouldn't have happened. Mike Smith on the technical side, Mark Severchak on the operational side, and then you've got John Frick and Mike Cowick and Breeden John.
Mike Cowick with the electric cooperatives has really shepherded a lot of the discussion over the last 4 or 5 years in South Carolina, especially among this diverse group of stakeholders. John Frick with the electric cooperatives probably worked harder than anyone else in making sure the negotiations around Act 236 weren't derailed.
When Chairman Sandifer presented it on the House floor, he read the list of those stakeholders who were supporting the legislation and said, this is highly unusual. We don't normally get all these guys in the same room together. But John Frick was able to do that. And he got us all in the same room together, got a product that all of us could support. And I think it passed the General Assembly, both House and Senate, without a dissenting vote, and was signed by the governor. So I think that's a proud moment.
The state's solar bill has paved the way for solar initiatives that include incentives for utility customers, solar leasing, and new rules for net metering and interconnection.
It was never about making South Carolina the largest market. We just wanted to have practical experience so that as renewable energy and solar energy and smart grid and all of these wonderful technologies transform our grid, that South Carolina is at the forefront and not at the back of the pack.
I believe we will evolve in a direction towards more solar, more clean energy, and more customer choice.